G'day mate, welcome back to Factorio with me, JD, and things have happened, numbers have changed. As you can see, we're approaching 15,000 satellites have been launched. A couple of things have changed. So one, I increased the total number of labs, and two, the bots are going crazy moving stuff around, but actually no research is running, so we're just going to tick off a couple of researchers. Yeah, I upgraded the number of labs, and this is pretty much the maximum you can sustain, not quite, but close to, on a blue belt. Now, I do have a slightly more efficient build that we're probably going to get to in the next episode, because I don't want to turn off science just yet. But today's episode is all going to be about finding those UPSs. And yeah, just for the record, space science, we're destroying thousands and thousands and thousands of them. Basically because I don't want to build more labs. Not that I really have much more room to build more labs. And the top silos, like, there is 39,000 rocket science in the network. And technically these guys are outputting into chests. But you can see the belt that goes north that comes up to here to these chests are all full. And we're going to go up to the main base. You can see they're pretty full too. Alright, today's episode is, it's actually all about finding those UPSs, those precious UPSs. Now, as you can see, we're running at 69 UPS, because I actually have the game speed set to game speed 2. So, the game can run up to 120 UPS if I could find the available CPU. Now, I have to admit, I haven't optimized the machine yet, so I haven't closed Chrome. I haven't closed the multiple video editors I have in the background from half-edited projects. I haven't done anything. Basically, this is as horrible. Well, this is a pretty stock standard run. So I'm just seeing what we can do in regards to UPS currently to see if we can squeeze out some more performance. I've done some major work. So Solar's been expanded. If you look at the robot port network, I've cleared all the robot ports out of this whole area. And I admit, I went to editor mode, and I just used Decon planner, set it to filtered robot port, and just dragged the whole area. Because it took half a second, it meant that all those robot ports, I didn't get them back, they just disappeared into nothingness, and any robots that were stuck in those robot ports also disappeared, which was perfectly fine by me. I'm more than happy to see them all disappear. As for the power network itself, we're now up to 929,000 solar panels. So some quick maths. 929, 123, multiplied by 42 watts is the average output from the solar panel during the day-night cycle. Divided by 1,000 to go to megawatts. Divided by 1,000 to go to gigawatts, we can do 39 gigawatts worth of power. Now, if I bring up this, I said it's 10 minutes, this is the number I need to look at, this flat area. So the flat area means we are constantly running 36 gigawatts worth of power. I'm making 39 on solar with the solar in the accumulators. So the solar's charging up, making 60 during the day, but on average it's 42. It's putting the excess power into the accumulators. I should be fine. If you can see, like, nuclear is only kicking in for this little part here, because the way the priorities work, solar works all the time. Nuclear is like second priority, and unfortunately accumulators are like the lowest priority ever. So you have to use some smarts to get them to trigger properly. And that's actually the first thing I want to do. So I have some smarts here that are already set to, if the accumulators get down to 50%, we pump water, and that'll actually turn on our nuclear. I want to change that down to 0. And then do some copy. Do some paste. You and you. And you and you. And then I actually want to copy right across there. So then I have something I can paste over every other nuclear build. Paste. Paste. Pasty, pasty, pasty. And this should... It'll disable nuclear running. It won't save us any performance yet, because it's really a two-stage thing. And after I get these done, we'll go through how that actually works. There, and there. So that first set's done. I'm going to copy from there to there. Hold down the shift button. I do not want any of that crap in my blueprint. Thank you. We just want to do just that section and just that section. So if I click on a power pole, day-night cycle, refresh, we're hoping as it teeters off tonight and solar starts to go down that our accumulators kick in and no nuclear runs. That's the hope. I do have technically this one, which is maybe set to run. Yeah, this one's set to run all the time. But this is my wood burner. It's literally 390,000 wood. That's the only thing it does. So, nuclear. Let's go for nuclear. So what we want to do is we want to show active state. Now, show active state is a magical button that we can tick on that says whether things are moving. And like, turns out I have fish still, and they're swimming around, and they actually cost some sort of performance. No, it's not that pump. It's a fish. Okay, anything with this red dot in it. So the red dot means it's not active, it's not doing anything. If we go look at this nuclear build, which I have no idea if I pasted over or not, I did. This nuclear build, we have a look at it, we can see that the inserters both have the red dots, they're not running, but nothing else is. Yet if we look at like this belt, we can see a couple of these miners are running, but not all of them. That's a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping I'd get rid of your red belt. 490%. So when one ore comes out, actually 50 jump onto the belt. Yeah, okay. We're just going to cut down our miners. I was really hoping one would be enough. Oh, that might do the trick. That's it. We're going from 5 miners running partially to 1. One and the other one thinks about it occasionally. This is why mining productivity rules. 1, you get more resources. 2, you get less active enemies. Anyway, that's what we're talking about. Well, solar's gone down. Accumulators are now actually running the network. If we go stand beside this guy, hover our mouse over here, we're down to 69, 68, 67. I want to see the graph. On a 10-minute timer. 61. So what I actually have is we have the A signal, which is how much charge is in the accumulator on the right-hand side. We also have, this is accumulators, how much power they're putting in the network. That's how much power solar's putting in the network, obviously. That's how much power in the last 10 minutes. How much steam turbines are putting in the network. We have our overall charge, which we can see is at, 36% and dropping. And this is how much charge the accumulators use on the network when solar kicks back in. So the idea is we're going to hopefully run through the whole night cycle where the accumulators don't run out of power. That'd be perfect. And at the same time, we don't see the steam engines kicking. If the steam engines don't kick in, it means I can use a decon planner and I can get rid of them. And that should save us some UPS. Because our final goal is we want to get back up to about 75 UPS. That's where I'd like to end up. Because that means technically I can put down another blueprint. So we're down to 530 gigajoules in the accumulators. It's starting to slow down, which is good. Because that means the solar's kicking back in. And there we go. We had enough power to make it through the night. Excellent. So I have this decon planner, which is special because it says power poles, road ports, and radars we keep. Everything else, make it go away. So, goodbye nuclear build. Goodbye more nuclear builds. Goodbye this nuclear build. Goodbye all of these nuclear builds. And just go away. Where else do we have nuclear? I'm going to keep one. So you can go away. I'm going to keep, do I want to keep that one? No. That one can go away too, which means all these pipes can go away, because I never really liked this pipe spaghetti. So we have this one nuclear build it's really there so I can blueprint it if I need a nuclear build. I shouldn't, and unfortunately I left the worst one to blueprint, but okay. So this of course is going to cost us UPS whilst the bots are ripping everything up. Next thing I want to look at is what is actually running in the base. Well, what is running could we turn off in the base? And as you can see, we've still got that little red dot icon on. And so working from the end of a bus back, we have booster copper for low density structures for both yellow science and for space science. Now, obviously, I'm not making space science now because we're shipping it in. So, booster copper can go. Of course, you're a different robot network. That's fine. We'll just extend out the network. Booster copper, go away. All of that can be gone. And you were just side feeding into the two main belts, so they can go away as well. The whole rocket build, I think, can go. Like, we have really no use for this. We have more than enough. Like, okay, we have 96, so it's like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 rocket science right here. I can't see this silo launching anything anytime soon. So you know what? We're just going to make the whole thing go away. We don't need low density structures down here anymore. That can go away. And it also means I can remove those. I can remove all these splitters, because splitters actually cost performance. So they can go as well. Now, science, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut the input belts. And that should let science run dry. And we're going to see what our UPS comes out, where the bots finish like deconstructing everything. What else do we have that we don't need? Oil. So with nuclear, and nuclear is the prime example, and actually we should go look at that build again. So when it comes to nuclear, all these things are calculated as fluids. So we have a offshore pump which outputs fluid. Because it outputs fluid, the way Factorio works, it never turns off. This is a heat exchanger which intakes water and outputs steam. They're both fluids. They never turn off. They never have this little red dot on here, even though like they're at temperature. You know, they're at temperature. They're not having any water input. They're about as off as you can get. Do I have any of these on me? No, of course I don't. Let's just pick that one, and we'll put that there. It's completely segregated from the network. No little red dot. Anything that has a fluid in the game never, ever, ever turns off. Now, heat pipes, you might say, why don't they turn off? Why don't they have that little red dot jetty? Well, heat pipes are technically a pipe. They technically carry fluid. They just carry the fluid of heat, not the fluid of liquid or gas. So they don't turn off either. Nuclear reactors, same story. They output the fluid of heat, so they never turn off. So your nuclear builds will never, ever turn off, even when they're not in use. It also means, if we wander down to our oil build, we can see all the beacons are off. They all have little red dots because they don't actually do anything. Beacons actually take zero processing for the game. My chem plants are all on. My refineries are all on, even though like that one's not doing anything. Technically, it's outputting. There's an autosave. All this cracking is on. You'll notice that my chem plants that output a solid, if the solid backs up or the input is not there, they'll actually get that little red dot. So anything that deals with back to a solid can back up and can stop running. So these guys are sometimes off, and we want that little red dot there as often as possible, because it means we don't have to calculate things. And by throwing speed modules at a problem, sometimes you get things to run faster when they're running, but then be off more often. And it doesn't matter how fast something runs, it's how much it's off. But if we keep going through, like, in theory, all these explosives that we don't need anymore are technically off. The catch is all the pipes that hook up to them are technically on. So we're going to want to use our pretty little Decon planet and say, goodbye explosive build. Don't need any of you. Which means that's the petroleum input, that's the water input, that can all go away. That's the water, that's the petroleum, that can all go away. That can go away, that can go away. I don't need the coal pipe down here. Nope. You can be swapped out to a plain, simple, boring old belt. Bots, did you think when you woke up today it'd be a horrible day? Because I can tell you it's going to be a horrible day. Now, in theory, I should have a lot of recycling set up, so everything should get auto-recycled. The whole artillery shell build, as you see, everything's got its little red dots. It doesn't have any fluids, so it's all technically off, so I don't have to worry about it. That's why I did the same with science. I just cut the input belts, and all of this is technically off. Unfortunately, splitters still have to be semi-calculated. So, the way Factorio works is 200 belts in a straight line, curved line, bendy line, round a circle, doesn't matter. 200 belts in a continuous row are calculated like one belt. The catch is, if you do any sort of splitting on them, whether it be like using a underground trick, which I'm sure I've done here. There we go. So if you use the underground like this, this cuts the lanes and causes this to be a new calculation. If you use a split up, it causes it to be a new calculation. Actually, there is an overlay for... transport lines. Haha. So we can see anytime that we get these little arrows here, that's a new calculation. And anytime a belt is blue, it's currently moving, it's currently processing. The game has to calculate that. So we can see this is completely backed up, not an issue. This is all backed up. So in theory, none of it's got to be calculated, except every single one of these splitters along here, which even though they just pass straight out to there, is breaking up that segment. So rather than me having, well, hang on. So this is the end of our module build. I know it gets really hard to see with all these overlays, but here is the end of our module build. Our next, if none of science is running, so the next spot is all the way over here. And I have, rather than that being from there to there being one belt piece, 200 belts long, but only being calculated as one belt piece, it is recalculated, 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 recalculated. Here, 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 and here as well. So it's recalculated like 6 times in 6 smaller sections because of all my splitters. Now, if I remove all those splitters, we're going to again gain some more UPS. But we'll look at that in a second. So that's done. Same with my artillery belt that's going nowhere. Technically, I could probably get rid of that. That got missed for some reason. Alright, so what's next on the list? The next on the list is possibly ripping up some oil. So we're at 73 UPS. 75! 76? 70, 70, 77, 77, 77, 70, 75. Okay, What else can I do? Just small changes, minor changes. No, I do need rocket fuel, but I don't need this much rocket fuel. That's for sure. Okay, so let's go with that one. We're going to remove all of that. Because the only thing I'm using rocket fuel for now is to make nuclear fuel. So I do need some rocket fuel, but not a lot. And we're not going to cap these in any way, shape, or form. Just fill the chests. Okay. So then, hang on, let's go look at solid fuel. Hang on. Max rate calculator says that I need to make per second 10 solid fuel. 3 of them, 12. So that means from there on, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll just go from there to there to start with. 4 of them is 17. 3 of them is 12. That can also go away. That pipe can go away. That underground can go away. So that's a metric ton of solid fuel. That's 1.5 rocket fuel per second. Production stats. Consumption. We're using 6 nuclear fuel per minute. Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that high. Okay. Undo, 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 undo. Undo, 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 undo. Better. There's no way. Over an hour? 5. Over 10 hours? 4. 4 seems more reasonable. Okay. Now I gotta wait for all the modules to show up again. Okay. That looks like all the modules. 5.6. Okay, fine. I'm not changing it. You need 40 solid fuel. How much solid fuel am I making? 51. That much. 42. Okay, so last few can go. We'll get rid of the last few because we can. Get rid of that. And put a substation on there. Okay, so a small trim. Small trim's better than no trim. Okay, we're down at 72 now. So UPS is going to fluctuate all the time. I hate these little red dots, but they're really, really helpful right now. Alright. So the only thing we can do from here is like savage things. Like all this is off, but actually deconstructing it and removing all these splitters will actually improve things slightly. I don't know. I don't know any other way we can try and squeeze some more UPS out of the game. Because I want to get to 75 constant. Because that gives me leeway that after I fix the computer, I should be able to get a little bit higher, which means we don't fall below that magic 60 mark. Okay, I'm going to leave this episode... I'm going to leave this episode here. I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to have a look around... Oh, that's a not existent build. That's just a dead build that does nothing. That's also a dead test build that does nothing. you're outputting red circuits. You are actually outputting red circuits. So you technically do things. So I won't remove you. Yeah, I need to look at where I can maybe scrape a few extra performance points out of the game. Obviously, like simple things like this build down here for smelting. I could swap this over to a beacon build. That would gain me some amount of performance, and maybe it's not a bad idea. Same with this booster green circuit. I could do the same there. I could swap that over to a better beacon build. In fact, it's something I could do with all, like our green circuits. We worked out this system here, which takes in a belt of each iron and copper and outputs a belt of green circuits. And this is on a 12 beacon build, so a 10 beacon build roughly. This has got more beacons, which means the machines run less often. And I could put down a cut. I could take out what we have here and put down this instead. And this would be more efficient and run faster, and means this could go away. The very exact same with red circuits. Red circuits, again, is an 8 beacon build. But if we remember, we were testing down here like we'll call it a 10 beacon again, a 10 beacon setup. And actually this one has no speed modules in it, which is horrific and horrible. I have no idea why you exist. Oh, because it was a different build style. That's right, you were bringing copper from the outside, which meant it was easy to get all the red circuits out. I don't know. So yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. And blue circuit's the exact same story. We have a more compressed build down here that I think eats a whole belt of green circuits. Yeah, it eats a whole belt of green circuits, and that's why it's funny at the end and outputs as many blues as it can. So maybe this is the next step, like upgrading some of these crucial builds that we're still using up to the new format. In saying that, if we've got enough supplies to just put down a whole blueprint, technically I could probably decommission everything from like our warehouse onwards, our workshop onwards. I could just like remove all of it, because I wouldn't need red circuits, blue circuits, lasers. I'd need solar panels. I wouldn't need speed modules. I wouldn't need science. I wouldn't need more speed modules, more prod mods. I wouldn't need any of this stuff. It could all go away. And we could get more performance that way by just decimating home base. Also means more of the smelter would turn off, which would again gain us more UPS. But when I come out of map view, we're right on that borderline point. We're right on 75, so we're close. We're close. It also means I need to solar, because if I want to put down another one of these builds, probably down here. Probably down here. That's the only logical spot I can really fit it at this time. It means I need to probably take solar up another half a screen and then all the way across again, which means I better start stamping. Anyway, I'm going to leave this episode here. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in for episode 89. I am going to tell you guys we're not going to go past 100 with this series. That is a firm decision I've made. There will be talk of what's happening next in the next couple of episodes, but yeah, we're definitely getting close to the end, and we are doing like 10 rockets per minute. Although this counter is pretty bad now because we keep deleting science packs, so can't really count on that anymore. But as long as trains are backed up and trains are unloading as fast as possible and silos are launching as fast as possible, we're doing 10 rockets per minute. And like I said, if I can do one more blueprint, that'll get us up to 15 rockets per minute, which I'd love to see. Anyway, that's me. I'm out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.